All right, brother. So when do you tell your woman no? And when do you tell her yes? When do you let her know this is where we can cross and this is where we should cross, right? And you're probably having issues with this right now because you don't want to be the bad guy. You don't want to cause conflict. And whenever you tell her no or you give her some kind of pause, some kind of stop, she gives you a reaction, and then from there you go back on whatever you're saying, right? Because you just want the peace. You don't want any of the hassle, right? So everything comes back into just understanding just one big word. And that word is responsibilities. Now the problem that you're having right now is that you are not sure what is your responsibility and what is hers. This is why you're having a hard time not knowing when to say no and when to say yes and do this confidently, right? Because you don't have this clear cut understanding line, right? Of what exactly is her responsibilities and what is yours. Let's think about it logically here. If you know exactly what is your responsibilities and what is hers, you would know for a fact that, hey, if I tell you no and she does X, Y, Z, you wouldn't even worry about it because you know for a fact it's not your responsibility. All right. Now, think of it like this: your no and your yes. The no's and yeses are simply a boundary, and that boundary is your property line. Think of it like a property. Think about the home you're living in right now. Think about the house you're living in, right? And think about your neighbor. What is in between the two of you guys? Typically a fence or some kind of bush or something that is blocking off the property to show that this is yours, this is your neighbor's. That is what a boundary is. It's that simple. And if you can understand that and put it back now into your relationship with your woman, there are things that your neighbor, which is your woman, things that belongs to her and only she can do, only she's not responsible for, and vice versa for yourself. Are you getting that picture now in your head? All right. Now, both of you are responsible for things like your emotions. So think about your neighbor again. He has to mow his lawn. You have to mow your lawn, right? How do you feel just going across and just mowing his lawn every single time it gets high, right? Because you feel as though I'm just gonna keep on doing it. That isn't your responsibility, right? And then from there you get upset when he gets, mad. Like that is not your place. He has to take care of what's his own stuff, and so do you. Well, your woman, she has her emotions and you have hers. And you have yours, excuse me. So it's your job to understand that, to stay within those boundary lines and not cross over into hers, and she shouldn't be crossed over into yours. All right. Now, so for example, let's say that she is yelling at you, right? That is her saying she's angry, right? She's upset or whatever frustration she has, right? She is yelling at you. That is her emotions screaming out at you, right? But you know now that her emotions are her responsibility. So you don't take responsibility for that. You say to her calmly by setting a boundary and saying, hey, listen, I understand you're upset right now, but I don't tolerate that yelling no matter how mad we are. And if it keeps on happening, then from there, I'm going to leave the conversation and I'm going to come back once we have this level of respect. Boundary, clean, cut, clear, because you understand what is not your responsibility, which is her not taking responsibility for her emotions, like her yelling. Does it make sense? Right? How about another one? Let's say for you, you had a hard day and she just wants to know to tell you all about it, right? And she wants to, to give you all the details on it. There's nothing wrong with that. She had a hard day, right? And if you say to yourself, listen, you know what? I'm at a place right now where I can receive or I can create space for her, then it is your responsibility to create that emotional space for her. Yeah, doesn't make sense. You aren't responsible for her emotions. You're responsible for yourself and keeping your emotions in check to the place where you can allow her to speak on her day, right? And you're not saying to her, hey, let me fix everything, because now that would be taking responsibility for emotions. You're saying to her, hey, I'm able to listen. I'm able to be here for you and listen, right? And okay, you had a tough day. And then from there, she's able to now figure out, does she need to, take some rest, take a nap, get a massage, whatever she needs, right? Or she probably will ask you for something if it really is that big of a deal to her, right? And from there, you decide, can you handle that or not? Do you see how responsibilities is one of the biggest, if not the biggest reason why you're having stress right now with saying no and yes? So if you understand what is yours and what is not yours, that is where your peace and your respect and that weight off of your shoulder begins to diminish, because now you understand the power of responsibilities through your boundaries. All right. Now, if you're understanding this and you're loving this and you're watching a lot of my videos and you want to know more and learn more about how to do this properly, how to remain calm, how to set clear boundaries, how to handle yourself in a way that's going to get the respect that you deserve as a responsible man, then join my new program called The Calm Standard. I'll see you inside of there. I promise you, you will see a shift in your life if you put in the effort and the work of working with me directly one-on-one. If you want to know more about this too as well, just go down below, press the link down below, and from there, I'll give you all the details to get started with me right away. All right, brother? That's calm, man.